Welcome to the Great Basin Prescribed Fire and Smoke Transport Briefing for Monday, February 9th. Currently, we still have prescribed burning occurring across the Great Basin, especially in Utah, but also a few spots in Nevada and Idaho. We will see wetter conditions begin to move across the Great Basin this week and continue probably for the next 2 weeks. Over the last 7 to 14 days, we've continued to see well below normal precipitation, really nothing in the last week with the exception of up north, up in Idaho. And then the last 14 days, again, any precipitation we've seen has been well below normal. Over the last 72 hours, we have seen some new snowfall over central Idaho, and many of these higher elevation areas have seen over 8 to 12 inches of new snow, some almost 20 inches of new snow. So that definitely is helpful up in central Idaho, but the rest of the Great Basin definitely has not seen any new snowfall recently, but that again will be changing as we move through the next 2 weeks. The snow depth is indicated on the right, and looking at our conditions related to normal, you can see we are still experiencing well below normal snowpack, especially across Nevada and Utah, and even into the Sierra, where we were near normal earlier this year, we have dropped to below normal. Up in Idaho and Wyoming, this is the area of the Great Basin that's doing a little bit better than the rest. But again, even those areas are still below normal. The only areas near normal are in far western Wyoming. So currently with our dry conditions we've seen recently, we do have very dry conditions across the Great Basin, and the short-term drought has intensified across Nevada and Utah. So this will just be something to keep in mind with prescribed burning. But again, we will see this picture change drastically over the next several days and going through the next 2 weeks. So do expect some improvements. But currently, our conditions are definitely much drier than what we would normally see. And that's reflected in our fuel moisture and in our ERCs. We are seeing either near or new record fuel moisture for 100-hour fuel moisture across the Great Basin. So again, just something to keep in mind with respect to prescribed burning just for the next couple of days. Looking at the satellite image from this morning, you can see quite a bit of cloudiness across the west in advance of this next system that will be impacting the region over the next few days. Currently, we only have some shower activity over northern Utah into eastern Idaho and western Wyoming, with a few light showers back into central Idaho, but over the western half of the Great Basin, still on the drier side with just the increase in cloud cover. So looking at our weather pattern for today, we will again see that cloud cover, but most of this precipitation will hold off until tonight going into Tuesday. Otherwise, winds will be breezy with northwest winds across the northern and eastern half of the Great Basin, which will help with air quality and smoke dispersion, but very poor conditions across Nevada with the lighter wind flow. And looking at our transport winds, you can see those winds breeziest across Wyoming into northern Utah, and then very light across Nevada with generally low to moderate mixing heights. Temperatures today will remain near to above normal across all of the Great Basin, and we will see relative humidity generally above 20% in most areas. We will see some drier conditions over parts of southern Utah, the Arizona Strip, and far southern Nevada. As we move into tomorrow, this is where the area of low pressure starts to move in off the west coast, which will significantly increase moisture, especially in California and the Sierra, but also we'll start to see those showers developing eastward across Nevada and Utah, and maybe even into southern Idaho and western Wyoming. We will see southerly to southwest winds pick up, so we will see dispersion improving tomorrow in many areas. You can see that in the transport winds. They will be somewhat breezy over the southern half of the Great Basin, with most of those wind gusts in the 25 to 35 mile per hour range, with some stronger winds up in the Sierra as that storm approaches. And then mixing heights increasing to moderate to high. Tuesday temperatures really won't fluctuate that much, will still remain above normal across the Great Basin. If anything, they will increase across Idaho and Utah. However, relative humidity will increase even further as that system gets a little bit closer, so we'll see most areas above 30%, with the exception of the far south, where we'll still see some pockets of teens and areas below 20%. On Wednesday, the system starts to track into California, pushing a lot of that moisture to the southern and eastern areas of the Great Basin. Still fairly good dispersion across the region as the system tracks across. Otherwise, transport winds will be strongest over the southern half of the region on Wednesday, although that will be accompanied by higher humidity and some shower activity, so no significant concerns with the winds, but obviously that's something to watch out for. Mixing heights moderate to high on Wednesday. Temperatures will start to drop a bit over the western areas of the Great Basin, but still remaining near or even just below normal for the time of year. Otherwise, above normal temperatures will continue further east, and we will see relative humidity increase in all areas to above 30% by Wednesday. Looking at the 3-day forecast precipitation, with this system, you can see most areas will at least see some light precipitation. There could be a couple of dry spots over parts of Utah and in the far south, but for the most part, we will see that increase in humidity and again, showers across the region. The better chances for heavier precipitation will definitely be in the Sierra and then over parts of northern Utah into western Wyoming. So we will see some new additions to the snowpack going through the next couple of days. Looking at the conditions as we move through the rest of the week, we will see that trough move eastward across the region, so possibly lingering showers over central and eastern areas on Thursday after our precipitation Tuesday and Wednesday. And then we will see drier conditions later in the week before the next system drops south off the California coast, bringing us better chances of precipitation across the northern tier and also into the northern Sierra. And this will move across on Sunday and Monday. So we are expecting significant amounts of precipitation both with this first storm and with the second one coming in through the weekend into next week. The highest precipitation totals are expected in the Sierra, where we could see anywhere from 3 to 4 inches of liquid precipitation, which will be the equivalent of over 3 to 4 feet of snow. Some areas could even get above 5 feet of new snowfall, so this will be definitely increases to our snowpack in Northern California and the Sierra, which we desperately need. Further east, we won't see quite as much precipitation, but we could see 1 to 2 feet of new snow over central and eastern Idaho into Wyoming and northern Utah, and maybe even a couple of pockets getting above 2 or 3 feet. But definitely the heavier precipitation will be on the western side of the Great Basin through these events. Looking at the 8 to 14 day outlook, taking us from February 16th through the 22nd, again, we are expecting this pattern change giving us precipitation for the next couple of weeks. So we will see likely that precipitation above normal through much of February with below normal temperatures. Although I will say a lot of these below normal temperatures probably won't impact us until later in the weekend going into next week. And again, we will see those temperatures mainly over the western half of the Great Basin with still eastern areas staying on the warm side. But definitely we will see this increase in moisture across the west, which has been needed for some time. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back on Wednesday for the latest updates.